1 2 1 2. We are live. GYGB War Report. I'm your co-host Roberto Flack. My man Coltrane out in Philly, feeling the heat wave. I'm assuming, man.
110 today.
Oh man.
No, listen, all humidity too, not like that dry heat where you get a little breeze. The breeze was heat, like wildfire. Shout out to our people from our Cali that's watching this, but that type of heat, that Anaheim, that stuff, that heat that can burn things down type of heat.
Word, like brush fires and all that.
Exactly, bro. It feel like Sudan up in this joint.
Woo! Now y'all see what we go through on a day. Well,
listen, listen, man. I always tell people this. I said the hottest place on earth I ever been is in the middle of Walt Disney World, like in Orlando, like around this time. Yep. We would always go like in July, and I'm talking like I was like a kid. I would go with my parents. It used to be so hot in the middle of that park because there's no shade. You're just out there.
Yeah.
And the heat in Florida, this as being a Floridian.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like that's how I felt today.
Yeah, man. It's
I drank water all day today. Like your appetite. I didn't have a big appetite.
Yeah, it's hot, man. You just want to see like with us down here, man. It's like this all the time, man. So especially this time of the year, man, we're like rushing into that.
Right.
Central AC unit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's little things in life you appreciate. Like AC is like everything right now.
Down here, man.
You see, I had to put some sugar in my diet. I got a little water ice here, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. Those are the joints right there, man.
Right. Because I've been drinking water all day. It's like I just need a little sugar.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Yo, man. So I know. We're a boxing publication and such, man. But look, man, we're obvious sports fans.
No doubt.
We got to talk about this, man.
This is crazy, man.
Just start it off, because we're obviously going to talk some boxing as it relates to the two big heavyweight names that will not be fighting this year, but we'll get into that.
Right.
So yeah, man. Wow. LeBron James is a Los Angeles Laker.
Right.
After I think a week, we kind of figured out like this was
the move. Right. Well, we got teased a little bit up here.
Yeah.
Which was staging more so and play on pun intended with him being in LA. Yeah. It was a little acting going on that he was going to come here, but it was never realistic that he was coming here. It was always, everybody, how long has it been? Like 2 years since he opted out could have opted out last year. They said, or 2 years ago, whenever it was, that he could potentially land in LA. The rumbling's been out there, like you said. Like, I think this been in effect. It was the biggest story.
Yeah, it was like a couple of years that they were talking about that this could happen, and then it kind of was like, yeah, but what does LA have to offer? And then you start peeling things back. You're like, oh, okay, and
right.
It's the big storyline, and it's funny, man, because I kind of relate this to what we experienced a couple of weeks ago that we really didn't touch upon. The whole Kanye Nas album, quote unquote, came out.
Right.
Then the following day, Jay and Beyonce, boom. And
that's what this is like.
Well, that's what I was saying, correlating to the fact that we find out about LeBron James. And as we were starting this show, we find out Boogie Cousins is going to the Golden State Warriors. So it's like,
bro, listen, you couldn't have drew up a better parallel. That's exactly what this was like. Nas, for the first time in a long time, putting an album out, feeling good about himself. People like you and I, who he's making music for, connecting to the younger generation beneath us and beneath them. And then in the middle of the night, here comes Jay, pulling a reverse ether, because that's essentially what this was, a reverse ether to Nas. I'm going to bring my album out, get some radio spins, knock your album way in the back, because nobody Nobody's even talking about Nas' album no more. I mean, the purists are, obviously. But
yeah. Wow, right?
Jay, yeah, so to your point about LeBron, once again, the Warriors on the court, off the court, they just pulled a major upstage on LeBron. Like, nobody even talking about that no more. Now it's like, how many games are the Warriors going to win this series this year?
They yanked that carpet right from underneath them, man. I mean, look, at the very end of the day, it is a big.
They were going to beat them anyway, but
yeah, LeBron landed in LA is huge, regardless of whether you like the guy or not. But the thing about it too is, if you're somebody who watches the NBA and you understand what teams are here, what teams are there, and you know who the East and the West are, man. It's just when you look at that pro to con ratio as far as good and bad teams, man, it's just like, I think at its heaviest that I could ever remember watching the NBA, man. It's just so heavily sided towards the West.
Just look at it like this. Just the two teams in the Eastern Conference, one being my beloved 76ers, and then Boston Celtics, they're dependent on a bunch of 25 and under teams to carry this conference. Basically, you got a bunch of 20-something-year-old kids on either Boston or the Sixers. All young players the nucleus. I mean, the core nucleus. Those are the guys that you're counting on to carry the conference. Like, of course, you got Wall and Bill and DeRozan and Lowry out in Toronto, but nobody look at those teams as quote unquote threats to come out of the East. It's just Boston or the Sixers. Neither one of those teams, they don't even have. I'm not even gonna say no. They have no. It's no remote chance. There's no scenario. There's no way possible that either one of those teams would even probably win a game against the Warriors. And we didn't even get to the Western Conference where, like you say, it's so stacked heavy. Like, all the best players are in the Western Conference, where in the Eastern Conference, we got a bunch of young up-and-coming guys that still got to prove themselves. Where the West is like, on one team specifically, you got all the talent loaded on one team. The one thing, man, that we talked about online, we transitioned to where we need to get to, but this is the one thing that stuck out to me the whole weekend. Why didn't Paul George go to Los Angeles to play with LeBron James? Because he's the one guy that everybody said was going there. But he chose not to go to play with LeBron. Like, that was big to me.
It's the plot twist, man. Yeah. You're thinking like, wow, man, he's going to go over there. And then, we still don't know the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard and how that's going to play out. But
right, that's still could play. Right.
Yeah. So, we're sitting here thinking like, yeah, Paul George has just joined them, but we signed him with OKC, man, which is so is Melo.
4 years too, almost, just about,
And then we've seen Rajon Rondo sign with the Lakers.
Right. Which earlier today we were like, okay, we see they're trying to.
Right.
Then the Boogie Cousins news dropped. That was like a flex bomb.
Yeah. It's like these little darts being thrown and everything, but it's all coming from one side, man. And we're not even talking about Houston and. We talk about OKC and everything. I mean, because you still got one of the best players on that team. So it's crazy, man. And then you look at the East, and it's just like, again, it's outside of you guys, Boston.
Right.
I don't know. Again, speaking for our Heat down here, I have no clue what Pat Riley has planned. This dude, Whiteside, I don't know if he's going to be on the team.
Right.
Come November, but. I don't know, man. It's wild. It's really like a free for all, man. At this point, man, and some people are saying they wish, as crazy as it sounds, man, that they'd rather have David Stern as the GM.
Well, the competition. Well, listen, the competition factor is gone.
Yeah,
like there's no for the most part. Season. The season is over already.
Whoever's winning the NBA Finals is coming out of the West, pretty much. I mean, no doubt. I mean, it would be a miracle season for a peak again, no disrespect to you guys, a peak Philly,
right. No,
Boston team to beat an 85% Golden State, a 95% maybe Houston Rockets. I don't know, man. I mean, it kind of takes the fun factor out of the whole point of watching NBA, you know, or basketball and everything. But yeah, man, and like I was telling you guys before, man, don't be shocked if KD comes next year and says, hey, or not next year, but like the year after, because remember he has a 1 year one opt out. Yo, man, when he says, yo, I want to go to LA with you, man, like, because people don't care anymore. It's like, no, it's like that's like staying with one team is not like a prerequisite anymore. It really isn't, man. Like, who's staying on one team like through their whole career, like in a whole, you know? So we're gonna see a lot more of it, man. This is crazy, man. This is like really crazy.
Yo. I'm back.
Okay, we're.
I was trying to. Yeah, I had to. I'm back.
Yeah, man. So it's the NBA is getting kind of nutty. Outside of that, there was some boxing this past weekend, man. And again, we're not notified a lot when certain fights come on, and maybe it's kind of some of us maybe not wanting to see particular fighters or as eager to like sit and watch them. But we saw this weekend there was an ESPN card, a top ranked card, Zuro Ramirez and this guy Angulo, not Alfredo Angulo. Talk about that in a minute. But the fight, I don't know if you got a chance to see it. I got a chance, like I caught like the whim of it, like the second, third round. This Lenny Z from Australia and this I forgot where he's from, but this dude Salcedo, man, like it was like one of these vintage Corrales Castillo type of fights. I mean, I guess you could say Gotti War because it was a back and forth type of thing, but man, like just a melee, and and this dude Lenny Z from Australia just like it just battered and bruised up, man. They had to stop the fight. I mean, I think they probably could have stopped the fight earlier. But that they're saying like fight of the year, but I'm always kind of subjective of that because it's like, you know, you take into account the competition and things of that nature. But people that like
blood all over the place.
Yeah, man. Like if people enjoy that, it was an action-packed fight.
No, it was. Right.
It was, you know, but I mean, it was entertaining. But Zuro Ramirez and this guy Angulo, man, like, see, you know, the one thing we do a lot here at GYGB, man, is we kind of try to take a back seat and just watch a fighter develop, and as they fight certain competition, how they look, you know, and conventional wisdom should tell you with certain opposition, man, like you should see the best of a fighter to really see how he does against like a top 1, 2, or 3 year. And with Zuro Ramirez, granted he's a WBO champion, man, but it's like there were several points in this fight where like he was getting like hurt, you know, and against a guy who really didn't possess a lot of speed, was trying to be aggressive, but you know, when I look at guys like George Groves and Benavidez and even DeGale, like these guys probably could beat him right now, man. Like particularly Benavidez, who I rate pretty high, man. But did you get a chance to see that one, or think Train left us for a second? But yeah, it was I don't know, man. Like I just kind of feel like that, you know, people like fighters like Benavidez, they're top level, you know. I don't think like I don't think he's ready at the moment. You there?
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
Okay,
I'm trying to adjust up and yeah.
No, but basically, yeah, man.
Hold up, dip that hat down again, my dude. Let me let that hat.
That's where you go, man.
No, not your. I want to see the low work, the hat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I corded a little bit of it. You know, I'm a hat. I'm a.
The hat. Yeah, man. Yeah. There's a lot more where these came from, man. But so yeah, man. I don't know, man. This dude Zurdo Ramirez. I'm not like 100% sold on him, man, and I'm pretty sure, but good old Bob is gonna like steer him in a direction to kind of develop him a little more. But he's one of these guys that already has a world title, so it's like, how long can you kind of ride that train for? So I don't know.
No doubt.
But yeah, man. So I mean, we might as well just touch on it, man. This whole situation.
Yeah, let's get into it. I mean, it's the two elephants in the room.
Yeah, man. Like, all right. So we know Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua is the fight. I mean, I don't think there's any question about when you look at the heavyweight fight in boxing. Now look,
it's the second biggest fight in boxing behind Canelo and Triple G.
Right, and I'll say this: in the United States, I think by far Canelo Triple G is a change more than what I think Wilder Joshua can do right now in the States. In the UK, in their business, like that fight would be huge right now. So
let's pull up Anthony Joshua's Instagram page real quick in case people don't believe us. No, seriously, like it's crazy. Like it just shows you the popularity, like you said.
Yeah, man.
Just the sport in general as a whole.
Yeah.
So much more there than it is right here, than right now, than it is over here.
Well, all right. Well, like just to go down like what's going on, as far as the contracts and things and such. Like, you're hearing two sides, as we always do. Deontay Wilder saying, with kind of the help of Stephen Espinoza, saying like, we need some like a second draft of this contract, and we need to go over some things. And Eddie Hearn is like, just sign it. And you start to think, man, like, are these two like entities in cahoots to like promote this
right
next April? Or when you look at the alternative with Anthony Joshua, he's fighting Alexander Povetkin, who, funny enough, we were wanting to see Wilder in the ring with, but until Povetkin got busted, I think twice with PEDs, they went to court, the whole lawsuit situation. So Wilder was already planning to fight him, and I always say you got to give him like him credit for that, because he had nothing to do with the whole thing with Povetkin. But some people are saying that Povetkin against Joshua is still a good filler fight, where with Wilder now, this dude Dominic Brazil, I think, is like the leading candidate of who he's going to fight in the fall. So, all right. Do we kind of excuse it at this point and say, because they have a proposed date of April that these two will fight? And I'm like, I wasn't expecting it this year, but if they did in the spring of next year, I can't really be mad at that. Because again, maybe it's because we went through the 5-year drought of not getting Mayweather-Pacquiao and we finally got it. So like maybe 2 years sounds like okay. Kind of like what we got with Canelo Triple G. Like, when you look at the timeline, it was about 2 years. Up till this point now with Wilder and Joshua, I think by April it's going to be around like a 2-year molding of them inevitably fighting. So if that does happen, and look, man, for I think for everybody involved, they have to, I mean, I think they were agreeing to it anyway, but the fight has to be over there, man. I mean, just because they know they'll be able to fill a 90,000 seat arena. Like, with here, I don't think they'll be able to do that in the States. But that's the thing where Joshua's people, man, like, or Joshua just knows the power that he possesses. Oh, wait, what are you showing? No, sure. Go ahead.
So, you see it?
Yeah.
6.6 million followers.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, again, man, and that's why I try to explain. Like, even if you think whoever's ducking who and what have you, like, you have to put things into perspective as it relates to how this business has always been ran, or for the most part. Look, there's other people and other fighters who have done the same thing that Eddie Hearn and Joshua were doing because they got the upper hand, man. And I said this. I go, yo, the fact that they can fill Wembley Stadium, the O2 Arena, or wherever fighting the number 6 ranked guy, and all the people show up getting hammered, you know,
I agree.
And it's a wrap, man. 70, 80K, man. So they're in control. This Povetkin fight, I guarantee you, is going to do 75K or something like in that range, which is still going to add to the point of who's really the controlling piece here. Like, I think the fight happens just like around April. Like, I think they somehow get it made. You don't want to like really drag that way too long because I mean you can make 2 fights out of that, you know, and make like a ton of money, man. So I mean I think that's like common sense coming into play. But I don't know. Well, what do you think of the whole fiasco as it relates to like the whole negotiations and now with like social media being involved? Like it's kind of like a side story to like all these shenanigans.
I agree with what you said. I think that the leverage is what I know people listen, like everybody's picking a side. See, one thing is hard to do, and you remember we went through this with Pat. We're saying like we were at in the green room, but it you know, you become a part of it because, like you said, when we live in a world today where we're exposed to information that we wasn't exposed to before. You know, when fights got negotiated. Like even contracts, like we know every detail about contracts now, no matter what sport you follow. Where back in the day, unless it was in a newspaper article or if you saw it on sports, they give a little excerpt of the details of the contract. Don't know too much about it, but now it's so much information out there. Like you said, they'll put something on Twitter, like what was in the contract, the offers, the incentives. You know, so we are kind of technically a part of it, and I think people look at this stuff and don't really have knowledge because just because you see it don't mean you understand it. And they're like, well, you know, Joshua should be getting this or Wilder should be getting that. But the fact of the matter is that people don't want to hear this here in America. He don't really need Wilder right now. Like this dude is selling out soccer stadiums, getting millions of dollars or euros, you know, but whatever it is, making a lot of money without anything. Look, we talk about this all the time. Fights become bigger and bigger if you let them marinate. You know, right now, to be honest, the fight ain't, even though it will be big in the UK, it's still not big enough where it could be really big. And I think in another year or so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Wilder kind of, you know, so to speak, is kind of building his name. But Joshua, I mean, has built his Joshua. He's still kind of getting resonated with the American fans. The UK fans obviously know who he is, but the American fans have, you know, they still don't know who this dude is, and yet he got 6.something million followers.
Right.
You know, and that's mainly from his side of the pond. You know.
Yeah, and then that's crazy, man, and that's kind of
crazy right
there. Where it's like I get it, you know. And that's why they didn't expect him to fight this year because, again, it's if he can make.
Not ready yet.
Yeah, it's like, again, especially stateside, where I don't think even Wilder, who's the American, I don't think he has that type of grasp, like even like a Terrence Crawford might have over him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Been in more faces and he's been on more platforms than Wilder. It's just Wilder's such like a big figure, like, you know, like literally. And heavyweight boxing has always been like this kind of American tradition where we've always wanted like a great American heavyweight. And at least right now, this is what we have. And, you know, a lot of people just want to see him pit against somebody, you know, top level. But then with Anthony Joshua too, you know, you can start to make arguments if he fights a Povetkin. He already fought Klitschko. Who else did he fight? He fought Joseph Parker. He's fighting like more former world champions and things of such than Wilder's getting. So it's like you don't know like if maybe this fight being prolonged will benefit him going into a fight who, you know, some believe, you know, I mean, I guess it's 50-50, but I guess if you're somebody going for Wilder, you know, you would say like, you know, he's not ready and you know, he might get clipped with the right hand, but that again, man, I think maybe 2019 we see that fight. I don't think it gets left on the table that long, man. I mean, because I mean, you don't want to walk away from money, but let's see, man. I don't know, man. We'll kind of have to see how that plays out, and if you know, whenever Wilder announces his next fight, because I mean, I think we are getting. I think it's September 22nd is the proposed Anthony Joshua and Povetkin fight, and they're saying it's going to happen maybe at the O2 or somewhere, which again be probably a sellout. So yeah, man, we'll see. What else is going on?
Well, the one elephant, a smaller elephant in the room is the Porter and Garcia fight.
Oh, that like ROD asked about that. Saying, like, have they made that official yet?
I'm hearing it's a done deal, but I don't know why they being so secretive about the date.
Yeah,
like that's what I don't realize.
Yeah,
I don't know. Are they still working out contracts? Like,
yeah, and we're already getting into.
I mean, it's supposed to be in August, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're already. Today's July 2nd. You know, we got right dead smack in the middle of the week for 4th of July, which is kind of like odd.
Right. I know, isn't that's such a buzzkill in the middle of the week? Yeah, right. I know.
So another thing I wanted to touch on, man, is look, we talked about this. I think last episode or the one before. Manny Pacquiao, Lucas Matisse. Okay, so I read this article today about how Pacquiao was saying how Bob Arum was old and he didn't know what he was talking about or something as far as relating to the televising of this fight. And there's been obvious problems in the whole department, man. I mean, it's just the way you see things being handled. But in general, it's July 2nd today as we're doing the show, and we have yet to even find out where this fight is being telecast in the United States. I mean, they're saying ESPN Plus or ESPN, regular ESPN, but I've seen no promotions. I've seen no band, like nothing, like even on the internet, like nothing. Now, mind you, Pacquiao is the lead promoter and Golden Boy is kind of co-promoting, but Top Rank has the U.S. visual rights to the fight. So we still haven't heard though, like who's how it's being televised, and that's not this coming Saturday, the following Saturday. We still have yet to find out.
I mean, yeah, like some of these dates, like I mean, this is a weird summer right? We got Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter Jr.
Like
later in the month. I mean, we've been to about this though. Other than that, I don't really know there's nothing concrete really going on this summer. I thought the Danny Garcia and Sean Porter fight, they talked about it. They said it was going to be in the summer. Obviously, it can't be in July because of Mikey and Mikey Garcia and Easter. But then we heard August, but there's no announcement, no press conference. So I don't know what's going on with that situation. It's just like weird. It's just like on mute right now.
Yeah, it's like nothing at all. And you figure even if it doesn't happen in August, September maybe.
But then September, what date would it be? You got football coming back.
Canelo Triple G.
I was going to say, and then the biggest fight of that month is Canelo Triple G. Again, it wouldn't be a what you call pay-per-view, obviously, but you still gotta these venues, TV. I'm also talking about TV time. You know what I mean? And
right.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with that.
Yeah,
that was the one thing that other than that, Same old. Waiting for Keith Thurman to get healthy.
I haven't heard anything about him.
Have they officially canceled the Jerry Hurd and Charlo brother fight?
Well, I don't think that was officially set up yet, but
it was never set up. Okay.
Yeah, like I think that's something they're gonna. That's another like tag team fight. Obviously you got the shoulder injury and.
We got a lot going on in 2019 already.
That's the hope. We're, at least for this year, where we kind of have that mellow year where we had some fights or maybe like one standout, but
right.
Yeah, man. I mean, this year I think is because we had such a good year last year, and it's kind of like at a standstill at this point, man. But look, man. Everything leads to Canelo Triple G. I mean, I think as that comes down the pipe, that's the one fight I guess everybody is going to get excited about because there is like some intrigue and so it's like something we want to watch, So, but beyond that, like you said, the Robert Easter, Mikey Garcia fight, definitely want to see that. I think they said Devin Alexander and Andre Berto is going to be on the undercard of that. Brandon Rios and Victor.
They just won't go away, will they?
What happened?
I said they just won't go away. Those two.
No, right? The Brandon Rios and Victor Ortiz fight. They said that's gonna be on Fox. I mean, I'll watch it. It's free TV. That fight's probably a little long overdue, but that's
Battle
like
Oxnard.
You Battle of Kansas City, Oxnard.
Oxnard. The transformation, right?
There's a lot of true bad blood in that whole situation.
Oh yeah, right. Well, they were all under Robert Garcia at one time, and
some ish hit the fan.
Victor Ortiz left. Yeah, Victor Ortiz ended up leaving.
Brother, I think.
Yeah, he left.
Robert Garcia's brother.
I think Robert Garcia actually brought him from Kansas City to Oxnard to train him. And I think the same thing with Brandon Rios, right? Did he?
Yeah.
Same type of kind of grew up together, and they, felt kind of. See, didn't really care, but Brandon Rios took it as like a sign of betrayal. So they had like some beef going on, and Victor Ortiz, we all know his story. He ended up kind of becoming the bigger name guy, but really never really lived. It's funny because at one time Victor Ortiz was really portrayed to be like the next guy, when he first signed. Remember, like they were saying, like he was the next kind of like Fernando Vargas type guy, and then he loses to Madonna, and that kind of funny how history works out because he loses against Madonna, he quits basically.
Yeah,
and that kind of like put him in the back burner. Then Madonna career kind of takes off from that point.
Right.
So it's funny how stuff works out, where Madonna was really kind of being served up to Victor Ortiz, and he stops him.
Yeah, it stops him. Yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the sport, man. But yeah, we'll see what pans out with that, man. But yeah, this summer's up until August. The only other fights I know are Sergey Kovalev is fighting this dude Barrera, Edler Barrera. Not Barrera. I'm sorry. Edler, the dude that fought Pascal, and this dude, that better be Dimitri Bivol. He's on the undercard. I think they're trying to do a unification with those two. I would want to see that. That actually that's probably gonna be a good fight if that comes down the road, but. Yeah, man. I mean, this fall, like we're kind of like waiting to see what kind of pans out. We're hitting July, outside of like the new Halloween joint, man. Like that's all I'm really looking forward to.
What's the other one? The other horror flick that you sent me the preview of? It's real weird. It's out there, but it got a real creepy feel to it.
Not Hereditary.
Is it Hereditary? It's like a little girl running around and
yeah. I still haven't seen that joint, man.
That joint look crazy.
I still haven't seen that joint.
Is that out already?
Yeah, that came out like a while. It came out last month. It's just, with the kid and everything.
Right, I got you.
But yeah, we've been on these little binges, man. Like I even saw what was the Leatherface. They had like the prequel.
Really?
Like, yeah, he comes about. So we're sitting there, and it was like, it wasn't bad,
Yeah,
it's those type of movies. It's like, all right, man, quick buck and everything.
Yeah, right.
That Halloween,
quick cash grab.
Halloween joint, crazy.
Right, I'm interested to see how this one play out. Yeah,
man, definitely, man. So that's. I mean, you got anything else you want to add before we wrap up, or?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll come back in that information, like as far as like an imported fight. I was just thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, because if it's going to be at the Barclays Center, I wouldn't mind hitting it up and going up there to check that out. But I didn't ever hear anything else about it. So hopefully we have some more information.
And for any of you that don't follow Angel Garcia on Instagram, just pay a visit.
Right.
Mr. Birdman himself.
No doubt. Yeah.
Oh man, so yeah, that's pretty much our show, man. Follow us at GYGB Boxing on Instagram, Facebook.com/GYG Boxing. We'll be here every Monday. I might not be
Monday. Here, man.
North. I'll be up north next Monday, up in NY, and then head to PA. Well, not near you guys, but like the
upstate PA. I got you. Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, we'll be back. I mean, obviously, by the time I get back, I think we'll be by the Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking. And also Mikey and Robert Eason. Alexander Umberto. Yeah. Wow. Any case, man, we'll be back hopefully next week or the week after, and
the week after. Yup, the week after we'll be back doing this.
Okay, word. All right. Peace. So at GYGB Boxing on Instagram. Peace.